Hello everyone, I'm Dan Philgreen. This is Shell Point Today for the weekend of June 7th, 8th, and 9th. On today's show, Roger Hirchak and Carol Clark take us behind the scenes at the J. Howard Wood Medical Center. But first, we have two big events to take note of. Start your Friday off right by celebrating National Donut Day. The social center will be filled with all sorts of delicious pastries and also a donut movie starring Shirley Temple. National Donut Day is open to all and happens Friday morning at 9:15 a.m. in the social center on the island. And then Friday afternoon, Peter Dice brings us his quarterly update to our community. Bring your questions and be ready to take notes as Mr. Dice presents the resident quarterly meeting happening at 2:45 p.m. in the church auditorium. The meeting will also be rebroadcast all next week on Shell Point TV Channel 13. If you're looking for a fun diversion on the big screen, then try our Saturday DVD. It's called Brave. It's the latest Pixar masterpiece, and also the 2012 Academy Award winner for Best Animated Film. It's about a Scottish princess who uses her bravery and skills in archery to restore her kingdom. The movie Brave will play twice on Saturday, at 2 p.m. and again at 7 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands, and all are welcome. Last month, Carol Clark came to our studios to explain the role that nurse practitioners play in 21st century healthcare. Now she's back to bring the focus to Shell Point and explain all the medical services that she manages at the J. Howard Wood Medical Center, located here on the island. Let's learn more.
Hi, I'm Dr. Roger Hirchak, Vice President of Medical Services for Shell Point. I often say that the medical center is the hub of activity for medical services at Shell Point. And what I was hoping we could do today is talk a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes in the medical center. And I think it's much more than you would expect. With me today is Dr. Carol Clark. And Carol is our manager for the medical center and our nurse practitioner that really helps make the medical center run. People come in and out. They get little snapshots of, I get taken into the doctor and I see my doctor and they tell me when to come back. I dare say they have no idea of everything that goes on behind those doors. Could you just sort of tell us maybe what a typical day is like in the medical center with some of those services also?
I think one of the things that has changed the work of the medical center the most is the electronic medical record. And most people may not be aware of this, but just because the medical center is open from 8 until 5, there is information coming through the system 24/7. So while the resident who needs to make a call might be calling in at 8 o'clock thinking that's the start of our day, what really has gone on is for the whole previous 16 hours, information has been coming in and is routed to certain computers. So if a person has had a village call, or if anyone in the assisted living is ill and needs an appointment for that day, or physician refills for medications that need to be handled, information is waiting for us at our computers the moment we walk in the door. And we work very hard to get appointments, same-day appointments. It's really our standard is anyone who needs to be seen isn't turned away if it's a really urgent need for that day. So we work very hard at that. And in addition to just managing sick care, we also have wellness care going on. The physicians are doing annual wellness exams, and those are handled once a year with the person and their physician, and that's a thing that we're really proud of because we're trying to move away from the sick model into the wellness model. In addition to that, we offer laboratory services 5 mornings a week. We have blood draws that occur. Probably one of the matters that we have the most is our population that have a little bit of risk for falls, and they take a fall. If they're on a sidewalk, there's usually some type of abrasion or injury that has to be managed. So we probably do 2 to 3 village calls per day, and Some days they're heavier than that, but that's probably an average.
And that takes some of your staff out of the office while the normal routine goes on.
Right, and we try to rotate that. Sometimes I go, sometimes the staff goes, and we carry a radio and we communicate by phone, and so we're pretty careful about those.
And then Wednesday mornings are pretty interesting in there with our other nurse practitioner, Amy.
Yes. Every Wednesday, Amy does between 12 and 13 ear lavages. And so we do a really good service for residents, because normally that kind of thing would have to occur outside of here in a specialty office somewhere. Mm-hmm. And right now we're booked out probably 3 or 4 months ahead of time. We take the hearing sensory system quite seriously because it contributes to health and avoidance of falls. Sure. And we also do quite a bit of what we would just call wound care visits. Mm-hmm. If you have a fall and you have a wound, we take care of it for you. So that's also a big part of what we do in the afternoons.
And that's no small effort, because it's not like putting a Band-Aid over something. The wounds have to be assessed. All this information has to go into the electronic health record, and if there's any signs of infection or concern, then they may have to get someone else, either you or a physician, to look at these to go on. So it's pretty significant, and the wound care center is very important. We really try, Carol, as you know and we know, to avoid sending our residents to the hospital unless absolutely necessary. Suturing people, because we do have the ability to do that right in the medical center. We have the ability to take x-rays if need be. Anything that we could do to prevent having to send our residents who become our patients into the emergency room to wait 8 or 10 hours to have that done, we try to do that. I think the level of concentrated care is excellent, and I'm not patting ourselves on the back, but I do want, again, our resident population know that we do provide a lot of services out of the medical center. Once in a while we'll hear complaints from residents, I've had to wait 2 or 3 days or a week to get in, and I know that, as you have said, we try to get people in the same day, especially if it's an emergency, or within 24 hours. Times like this during season, even off season, sometimes people are waiting to get into their outside doctor's office for 3 to 4 weeks or a month or two. Mm-hmm. I only say that to remind our beloved Shell Point population that we are here to spoil them, mm-hmm. and we do everything that we could, and our wait times we always accommodate. You know, there's always the exception, but we always try to accommodate calls for our services.
They might have to see the nurse practitioner, but if they need to be seen that day, we'll see them.
We really appreciate all that you do, and I'm sure our residents do also, Carol, so thank you.
Well, thank you. It's a privilege. Every day is a privilege.
Thank you for joining us to learn more about the J. Howard Woods Medical Center and some of the workings behind closed doors. If you have any questions, our number is 454-2146, and it is a pleasure to serve you all.
Coming up, we are replaying some of the week's best stories from Shell Point TV. But before we do that, let's cover all of this weekend's happenings: Academy news, menus, and church news.
Welcome to the Happenings segment. I'm Suzanne Zavada, and I'm here with Bev Chanley to go over the weekend happenings at Shell Point. We'll start off with Friday at 8:15, when the Stamp Ministry will be meeting in the Stamp Room on the island. At 9 o'clock, the Round Robin Men's Doubles Tennis Group will meet out at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. And at 9:15, we have a holiday celebration you do not want to miss. This is a celebration of National Donut Day. We'll have a short film, some refreshments, and it'll be taking place in the social center on the island. We hope to see you there. Then at 10 o'clock, we have Canasta in the game room at the Woodlands, followed by Inquiring Minds meeting at 10:15 in the Osprey Room on the island. At 12:30, Mixed Progressive Bridge will be played in the game room at the Woodlands. And at 1 o'clock, the Diabetes group will be meeting in the social center on the island. 1:15, table tennis will be played in the Tarpon Room. Also at 1:15, we have the Quilters meeting in the Osprey Room on the island. At 2 o'clock, euchre will take place in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. And at 2:45, we have the resident quarterly meeting in the church auditorium on the island. At 6:45, we have game night, and that'll be in the Resident Activity Center on the island. Now here's Bev for Saturday.
We're going to start out Saturday morning at 8 o'clock with round-robin men's doubles tennis down at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. At 9:45, duplicate bridge will be played. That'll be in the Manatee Room. It's a mini lesson and a 2-hour game. The cost is $5. At 10:15, the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be sailing their boats at the Woodland Commons Lake. Then we have a 1 o'clock chess game going on in the Library Lounge at the Resident Activity Center. At 1:15, table tennis will be in the Tarpon Room and will be available all weekend unless it's noted otherwise. 2 o'clock, we have the Saturday DVD movie entitled Brave, a 2012 film, will be in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. At 3:15, basic line dancing will be in the Health Club. We move all the way to 6:30 for a duplicate bridge in the Manatee Room. And then we end up at 7 o'clock with the Saturday DVD Brave being shown again in the Grand Cypress Room. That's our activity lineup for Saturday, and here's Suzanne with your Sunday lineup.
At 9 o'clock, the Christian Life Studies Group will be meeting in the game room at the Woodlands, and they'll also be meeting at 9:15 in the Village Church on the island. At 10:15, we have morning worship with Andy Hawkins. It's in the Village Church on the island, and it's also broadcast live on ShellPoint TV, Channel 12. At 2 o'clock, the Mixed Golf League will be out at the ShellPoint Golf Club, and we end the weekend at 6:15 with the evening service with Andy Hawkins in the Village Church on the island. Well, that's it for the weekend. We hope you have a great one, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Hello, I'm Terry Koleth with your Academy information for Friday and the weekend. On Friday at 9:15, we have a computer college class, Adobe Photoshop Elements, continuing in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. And then at 10:15, a new class, Facebook Basics on the iPad. This will take place in the Manatee Room of the island, and sign up is required. I'd like to tell you about some new classes coming next week. On Wednesday, Susan Willoughby begins Intermediate Bridge. And on Thursday, Karen Hubbard of Lakewood will take us on a Woodlands Art Walk.
Menus for the weekend, starting with Friday in the Crystal Room. The Crystal platter is marinated grilled tuna steak with buckwheat noodles and snow peas. Friday night is the seafood buffet in the Crystal for $14.95. The soup today is lentil. In the Island Cafe, Friday lunch is a fish sandwich with coleslaw and chips for $6.95. For dinner, Chef's Choice for $7.95. In the Palm Grill, Friday night, we have lamb chops for $20.95 or fried oysters for $16.95. Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. Saturday in the Island Cafe, lunch is a mile-high corned beef sandwich with fries for $6.95. And for dinner, stuffed calamari with red potatoes and broccoli for $7.95. In the Palm Grill, Saturday special is prime rib for $18.95 or T-bone steak for $19.95. Sunday in the Crystal Room, they have their Sunday brunch for $17.50. Sunday in the Island Cafe, lunch is a grilled turkey, bacon, and Swiss panini with fruit for $6.95. And for dinner, Chef's Choice for $7.95. The Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Greetings and welcome to Village Church Connections. We are here to celebrate the weekend and talk about what lies ahead, and I'm so thrilled to be here with our pastor, Pastor Andy Hawkins.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Welcome, Andy. We're looking forward to this Sunday because it is a special Sunday.
And it is.
We've talked about it this week already. It's Great Commission Sunday.
That's right.
And there will be some special things happening during the course of the day. Tell us a little bit what we can expect.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate the international ministries, not only of the church here at the Village Church, because we're very invested in international ministries, but also of our association with the Christian and Missionary Alliance, which is our denomination. But certainly the Great Commission goes far beyond that. It has to do with what Jesus really commanded the churches to do when he was preparing to ascend into heaven. He was going to resource the church with the Spirit of God to communicate the gospel all across the globe, and we've been doing that for 2,000 years. And it's one more opportunity that we have to remind ourselves of that commission. We have a couple of special guests who are going to be with us. Eric and Chrissy Maxey will be here. They're ministering in Indonesia. Eric will be our speaker that morning. We'll get a chance to get acquainted with them. And then we also have the Ebbets. And tell us a little bit about the Ebbets and what their ministry involves.
They were here about a year and a half ago. Raymond was here for our Global Impact Week, and they are serving as field directors in Europe. They oversee a lot of our ministries in the countries of Spain, Portugal, Italy, some of those areas around there, and they were a wonderful blessing when Raymond was here earlier, and so we look forward to an update.
Yeah, it's really neat to know that we have two couples that represent very different fields.
Right.
Obviously, Eric and Chrissy are in Indonesia, a Muslim-oriented country, and then ministering in Europe is a really different animal anymore. It used to be, of course, Christian Europe, but it's sort of very much post-Christian these days, and so the nature of the ministries have evolved and changed to make sure that we're adaptable to a very secularized, westernized culture in all of those countries, and so it'll be exciting to be able to rub shoulders with them. But Eric will be speaking, but we'll also have some great music, as we always do. And the Village Church Choir will be presenting a combined ministry with the youth choir from the New Presbyterian Church over in Broward County, Florida. Is that correct?
That is correct, and we're looking forward to all that energy and life on our platform as they join their voices together and minister to us, I think several times during the course of this service.
Absolutely. And this is an excellent group, if one I understand, and they're going to then be presenting a concert in the evening, right?
They are, and I know Randy has talked about that already earlier this week, but it will just be a time that we turn over to them and let them minister to us. They'll be doing a variety of things, and we look forward to that very much.
So it'll be a great Sunday.
It will be.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
So we invite you to come Sunday morning at 10:15 as we celebrate Great Commission Sunday, and then Sunday night at 6:15 as we hear from the youth choir from New Presbyterian Church. Thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful day.
It's time now for our Shell Point TV Week in Review. And we began this week with a reminder about the Shell Point Summer Concert Series, which begins this Tuesday with the Naples Jazz Orchestra.
Summer at Shell Point is usually a quiet time. When we let the air conditioning run, we watch the thunderstorms go by and enjoy the long hours of sunshine. But here at Shell Point, we like to spice things up during June, July, and August and provide our summer residents and Lee County guests with some top-notch musical entertainment. Hi, I'm Dawn Bourne, Director of Resident Life here at Shell Point. We're pleased to announce the 4th year of our summer concert series, bringing the finest in jazz, classical, and vocal groups to the stage of the church auditorium. It begins with a bang on June 11th when we welcome back the Naples Jazz Orchestra, a big band in the tradition of Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Woody Herman, and Buddy Rich. The Naples Jazz Orchestra is comprised of some of the finest professional jazz musicians in Florida who will take you back to those exciting golden days performing the greatest music of the big band era. The Naples Jazz Orchestra brings their stage show to Shell Point on Tuesday, June 11th. In July, we take a classical turn with a unique trio consisting of the flute, viola, and harp. The Sunshine Trio are Scott O'Donnell playing the viola, Kay Kemper on the harp, and Beth Larson playing the flute. This special combination of instruments brings a new sound to traditional classical favorites as well as popular numbers from the American Songbook. All three are accomplished musicians and are featured performers with the Southwest Florida Symphony and the Palm Beach Symphony Orchestra. So come hear the Sunshine Trio on Thursday, July 11th. And finally, we welcome the Barbershop Quartet in August. But this group is unlike anything you've ever heard before. It's a female barbershop quartet called The Buzz. These talented ladies sing the same barbershop favorites as the guys, but they bring their own distinct sound to the performance. These four ladies are all members of the Sweet Adelines and have accomplished vocal careers on their own. And performing together as The Buzz, they have recorded numerous CDs and have been given award-winning performances worldwide. Come hear what The Buzz is all about as they perform at Shell Point on Friday, August 9th. That's your lineup for this year's summer concert series at Shell Point. Once again, we're also keeping our ticket prices low and offering discounts for purchasing the whole season. Each individual concert ticket is just $15, or you can save $10 by purchasing the season ticket for all three performances for just $35. Visit the Island or Woodland service desk to learn more. Join us for a celebration of jazz, classical, and vocal music all this summer right here at Shell Point.
On Monday, occupational therapist Caitlin Kramer visits Shell Point to demonstrate how people with vision issues can actually retrain their eyes.
I'm Mary Franklin here today with Caitlin Kramer from Low Vision Works to talk about a Health Connections program coming up on Monday, June 10th in the Social Center at 10:15 a.m. The program is entitled Low Vision Works, Get the Facts. This will encompass all of the opportunities that this company can help you with your low vision. Let's talk about you before we talk about Low Vision Works.
All right.
And tell me a little bit about your past history and your work experience.
I am an occupational therapist. I actually have my doctorate in occupational therapy, and then I have further specialization in low vision.
Okay, all right. How long have you been with Low Vision Works?
About a year and a half.
Okay, and you've been coming out to Shell Point now for about a year as well.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so what does Low Vision Works, what does that company offer to Shell Point residents?
We offer low vision therapy, and low vision therapy is therapy for individuals with low vision. And low vision is, there's several definitions, but the easiest definition is that if you're having difficulties reading, putting on your makeup, playing golf, doing the things you used to be able to do, if you're having trouble with those activities, even while you're wearing eyeglasses, then you're considered to have low vision. And you could benefit from low vision therapy.
Okay. So it doesn't pigeonhole one type of vision problem. You cover diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and several other
macular degeneration. I have a lot of macular degeneration diagnoses, but yeah, it doesn't have to be a specific diagnosis. It's just if you have low vision, then you're qualified for the program.
Okay. And the program is really a therapy program, and it's continuous, and you go right to their home?
Yes, so Medicare actually pays for me to go to the patient's homes twice a week for 8 weeks, and then every 6 months Medicare will cover me to come out and do a reevaluation, and if the tests show that they need more therapy, then they qualify for more therapy.
I really like how it is a continuous process, and it's just not, this is what you should do, see you later.
Right.
You come back and you visit them where they're having the problem, so you can see how their home is set up and really make some changes that need to be made.
Right.
Now, you've been coming out for a year. You're also involved in our low vision enrichment group, and you go out to those meetings every month. So you're very familiar with a handful of our residents.
I am, yes.
That's good. And who should come to this meeting? Is it just those who have the low vision or have already been diagnosed, or?
No, it can be obviously anyone with the diagnosis that we mentioned before, anyone with low vision, or anyone who has a significant other or a friend who may have low vision, or anyone who's just more interested in the diseases and what low vision therapy is. It's better to be preventive.
Thank you for being here. And if you would like to sign up for this program taking place on June 10th in the Social Center at 10:15 a.m., you can do so at either of the service desks. I'm Mary Franklin with Caitlin Kramer. Make it a happy and healthy day.
With this week's visit from the Bloodmobile, we went behind the scenes to see what happens to the blood after it's donated.
Hi everybody, it's Jared Pike here at the Bloodmobile once again. You might remember last time we discussed the process of giving blood, how simple it is, and how many people it helps. It's a wonderful process that everyone should take part in. But I got curious, what happens to the blood after it leaves the bus? Well, to find out that question, we came here to Florida Blood Center's Fort Myers headquarters in downtown Fort Myers to find out what happens to each individual unit. And to help me, I have Wendy from the Florida Blood Centers. How are you doing this morning, Wendy?
Very well, thank you. It's nice to have you all here, and it's good to be able to show everybody what happens with the blood once it leaves our mobile.
Now, I'm pretty excited because apparently a unit of my blood is here, and we're going to take it through the whole process from collection, which we just saw, to all the different parts. So let's go see what happens, okay?
That sounds great.
All right, Wendy, we're here in your laboratory, and now I see these test tubes here. I remember when my blood was collected, part of it went into these little tubes. Now, what was the purpose of that?
Well, the purpose is that the tubes are used for our testing of the units. It does go through 18 hours of testing. The testing is for our regular tests that we are mandated to do, which is HIV, hepatitis, syphilis, very important testing that needs to be done to keep the blood supply safe.
And it also is tested for cholesterol because you get that reading later on in the mail, right?
That is very correct. We have cholesterol, and of course everything is tested for the blood type. So everybody will receive information in the mail about their cholesterol and their blood type.
Okay. And sitting right next to it, I see this is actually my blood. This is a unit of my blood. This came out of my veins. And what happens to it now that it's sitting here?
Well, now it's going to go through the process of spinning it so it can be separated into the components of blood, which is 3 components.
How long does it take to spin and conduct that process?
These units will be spun for 7 minutes.
Okay. Now, Wendy, what's happening here?
Well, as we've shown, that the units are spun and they are being separated right now into the 2 different components of red cells and plasma.
Okay. And this happens 6 at a time. They went 6 into the centrifuge, and now they're all being separated.
That's correct. They're being separated. Once they're separated into the 2 different components, then the units would actually be refrigerated at the correct temperature to keep them safe while we're waiting for our testing.
Okay, now the red blood cells, we all know how they're being used, but how is plasma used in a hospital?
Plasma can be used for many different things. It is basically used when we have patients that are burn victims, but the hospitals can use it in all different types of ways.
Okay. And so when you give blood, your blood is separated, and it helps more than just one person. It could have the potential to help a number of people.
That's very true. That's one of the good things that we need to educate our donors is they're not only helping 1 life, they're helping 3. All right, Jared, this is your red cell.
So these are, after it's separated, these are the red blood cells that'll go to the hospitals and all the different places?
That is correct.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. Now, I see behind us we have a whole bunch of other units here, and they're labeled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. A lot of people have the idea that blood is kept here kind of indefinitely. You've told me a little bit about time frames. How long can this blood stay viable?
Well, when this unit is processed, it does have an expiration date on it. We are a blood center. The unit is good for 42 days only. So it is very precious that people continue to donate blood.
Okay, so when people donate a unit of red blood, it can't stay here forever. You constantly have to be replenishing your blood supply, and it's always being used at the hospitals.
Yes, as I said before, after the 18 hours of testing, the unit is labeled and it's sent out to our hospitals within 48 hours.
So you can see the need, folks. The reason to give blood, they are always in need. There's never a time when there's not a need here at the blood centers. So there's always motivation for you to donate. So I think we're going to go out to the hospitals and do the final delivery.
That's correct.
Let's go. All right, so Wendy, how often do you make deliveries like this?
Each hospital sends their orders in daily, and we send out the units daily.
Okay, so there's a daily need. How many hospitals do you cover? How many facilities do you cover?
We cover 3 here in Lee County, and we have Charlotte County and Sarasota County that we take care of as well.
Okay, and so that blood is going off right now to help people throughout Lee County and throughout Florida.
That is correct.
Well, Wendy, I've really enjoyed seeing this behind-the-scenes tour of the Florida Blood Centers. I sure do appreciate you showing me the ropes, and I guess when the next blood donation date comes, Shell Point residents should really take advantage.
Well, we really appreciate you coming out. I think this is a great way of educating everyone and showing what actually does happen after they donate a life-saving unit of blood.
All right, so folks, co-donate blood. It helps a lot of people. From Florida's Blood Center, this is Jared Pike. Back to you in the studio.
Everyone's got a sweet tooth, but how dangerous can those sweeteners be? We found out from our staff dietitians, Mary McCormick and Glenda Rakos.
Do you happen to get a sweet tooth around 3 o'clock? Or what about after dinner? Are you looking at that dessert bar longingly? Well, today we're going to talk about how you can find balance and get the appropriate amount of sugar in your diet. I'm Mary Franklin with this wonderful Health Connections program today that will be coming to you on Wednesday, June 12th at 10:15 a.m. in the Social Center. Mary, Glenda, welcome today.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you for being here and bringing another wonderful informational presentation to the Health Connection. And this is something that we all love. Sugar. We crave it. We want it. Now, Mary, is a little bit okay for us?
Yes, it is okay a little. The key thing is that should not be our main nutritive source. Remember, that is a place that we add when we can afford the extra calories. We may add a dessert or something of that. So if you're physically active and you're maintaining your weight, a little sugar is okay in the diet.
And Glenda, there's a variety of sweeteners out there. Are some better than others? Are you going to discuss this in the presentation?
There are many sweeteners out there, and we will be talking about it, so everybody please come and get all the details. But there are mainly 2 kinds, and one is the sugar that's naturally in your food, because in case you didn't know, in fruits and vegetables and dairy products, there's already sugar there naturally, but sucrose is mainly what we know as sugar, and we're going to talk about that as well as some of the non-nutritive kinds of sweeteners.
Okay, it's always hard to choose. Yellow packet, blue packet, pink packet, and depending on the day and which way the wind's blowing and what the news is saying, we just don't know which one to pick.
That is true. There's a lot of different ones out there, and some have had some good publicity and some not so good. But we're going to try to give you what the latest thinking is on all that, so you can then make your own decisions.
Okay. Mary, how about white sugar versus brown sugar? Is there truly a difference, and is it really better to use a brown sugar?
Not really. It's about what you like. And remember, it's about the sum of the day. We're looking at where your total caloric intake is coming from and how well you have done with balancing your nutrient intake. So it's about preferences. So I'm not into excessive of anything. One is really not more outstanding than the other.
Now, I'm assuming this presentation can relate to everyone, but those that are maybe pre-diabetic or diabetic, great information they'll be given?
Yes, because today's standards, we're more advocating a controlled carbohydrate diet. We've had a position, it's not been about sugar since 1995, about managing diabetes, and still people want to call it sugar diabetes, and that's that old term from 1916, and we have advanced, and so using that information wisely is the best approach.
Well, I think even more information is going to be given at the presentation, and I know it's going to be very, very beneficial to those, not only once you receive the information, to put it into action. I think their bodies will really thank them for that. And if you have a sweet tooth, you want to sign up for this program, it costs just $5, and you can sign up at either service desk. Once again, it is on Wednesday, June 12th at 10:15 a.m. in the Social Center. I'm Mary Franklin with Glenda Rakos and Mary McCormick. Make it a happy and healthy day.
Last week, more than 40 youngsters of all ages visited Shell Point Golf Club for the 3rd annual Junior Golf Camp.
This week we're doing our annual Shell Point Junior Golf Camp. We have kids here anywhere from 6 to 16. We have 42 kids that showed up this morning. This is our 3rd year doing it, and slowly we built it up. We're happy that we're able to do this for the kids. We have kids that have been doing this probably now for 8 or 10 years, all the way to kids that their first time with a golf club in their hand. They don't have clubs with them at all. They come clubless, and we have to find clubs for them, and they literally have no knowledge at all of the golf swing. So it's varying ages, varying. You know, we might have an 8-year-old who's very skilled, and we might have a 12-year-old who has no skill at all. So it's really exciting for us to have this many kids out here excited about playing golf. Our schedule in the morning is we have an hour and a half of instruction. We work them through stations. We do putting and chipping at one station, woods at one station, irons at one station. They spend half an hour at each station so we can hold their interest. After half an hour, you can see they start to wane, lose interest after half an hour. So we try to keep it jumpy and go for half an hour here. And then we're going to go and spend an hour and a half on the golf course playing actual golf, which is the most exciting part about it anyways, is actually getting on the golf course and hitting and putting and chipping and doing all that stuff that hopefully they learned while they were in the morning session. Obviously myself, my assistant John, we're both PGA certified instructors. And then we have our teaching pro, Nick Macinas. Nick's actually been teaching the longest of all of us. This is about his 28th or 29th year teaching, and he loves working with the kids. I mean, he's really very patient instructor. So yeah, we have 3 good quality instructors, and we were fortunate enough to have some parents and some MGA members stay and help us out.
Just keep the kids from running over those lines, because, you know, the young ones don't think. The main thing was, don't let them chase any of the balls or the tees that are over those lines to keep them back.
Yeah, we have to help the pro because he can't watch them all at once. There's just too many out there running all around.
We're fortunate enough this year that the MGA donated money for the kids to play golf. So the MGA basically paid for the camp, and the kids are playing for free.
We just thought this was a good thing for someone to sponsor for the children. And I think it's great to get these kids started at a nice young age. We're pleased to have sponsored it.
Shell Point's open all summer, even though we're on temporary greens. The fee is very nominal. It's a $10 fee. Play all you want. For more information about, you can go to www.shellpointgolf.com, or you can call us here at 239-433-9790.
This month's cover story in Shell Point Life magazine is all about dragon boats. Here's a photographic look back at Shell Point's dragon boat team, from training to competition. Lockridge joined us to discuss the new refundable contract offered at Shell Point and how you may be eligible to convert.
Hi everybody, it's Jared Pike here with Shell Point TV. We're talking about a new contract here at Shell Point, and who better to tell us about it than our Vice President of Finance, Tim Lockridge. Tim, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jared.
First, a little background. For its history, Shell Point has generally had one kind of contract, an unlimited contract that includes assisted living and skilled nursing, but there's never been a refund available upon your demise. Well, in 2008, that changed. We adopted the C contract. We have A, B, and C now. And the C contract, which did not include assisted living or skilled nursing, did allow for a refund to your estate. Well, when the estuary was announced recently, Shell Point decided that they could take the best parts of both contracts, the unlimited coverage and the possibility of a refund, and combine them into a new contract called the A Refundable. And this was going to be a new thing coming on just for residents of the estuary. Well, we thought we'd give the opportunity for current residents to take advantage. The reason Tim is here is because the numbers are a little bit complicated, and we have our cheat sheets here, but to give us kind of the bullet point about the refundable contract. What kind of refund is it?
Okay. We have two refund contracts that we've developed, a 75% refund and a 90% refund. Both of those are based upon the age of the resident that's going to be making the conversion. So that calculation comes up with an additional entrance fee that the resident will pay. And for that additional fee, they will then get, upon their demise, either a 75% or a 90% refund to their estate.
Okay, so you pay a certain amount extra up front, and then there's a refund due to their estate.
Right, and that refund, though, is based upon the entire entrance fee that they paid, their original fee plus the additional amount that they paid.
Okay. For a current resident who has already paid their founder's fee,
correct,
it can get a little complex, because if they want to take advantage of this contract, there are a fair number of calculations. So give us kind of an example. If a current resident paid a certain amount, take us through a sample of what they would pay.
Okay, if we can look at this example, you'll see that this resident is age 77 years old in our example, which happens to be our average entrance age here at Shell Point. And for that age, the additional fee that will be charged will be 58% on their original entrance fee. 58% is based upon the age of the resident. So the younger the resident is, the less that fee will be. The older the resident, the more that fee will be. So for that additional fee, now let's say that resident paid $100,000 as their original entrance fee. Could have been a couple of years ago. So we add the 58% onto that. We get a total of $158,000. So 58% is the $58,000 additional fee added to their original fee. So they've paid in total $158,000. But for that, on their demise, they will get 75% of that total back as a refund. $118,500 will be their 75% refund upon their demise.
Okay. So there is an opportunity there for someone who possibly wanted to take advantage of a refund, but it wasn't available when they first signed up.
Exactly.
Now they can take advantage, and but there are some eligibility requirements.
Yes.
Tell us about those.
Yeah, just a couple. You have to be 85 years or younger, so not over 85 years old. You have to be living in independent living still. You can't permanently be in assisted living or in skilled nursing. And finally, there'll be a basic health care review just to make sure you haven't contracted any disease recently that would significantly shorten your expected life. But basically, most of our residents should be eligible for this.
So, Tim, there are some details involved in this conversion. For example, if you cancel your contract early, you only get a refund of a certain amount.
That's correct.
So there are some stipulations, so it's important that people contact you.
That's correct. So in our example, the refund would be 75% of that extra $58,000 that was paid, not the entire entrance fee of $158,000.
If someone cancels.
If you cancel, correct.
Yeah, right. And I was talking before we started taping that I've always known with you in charge of the finances, I didn't have to worry about anything because Shell Point is very conservatively run. We wouldn't embark on something like this without knowing that the finances are sound, not only for Shell Point, but also for the resident.
Right.
And that's why this, we call it a contract conversion, is a little complex, and every person will be different. So
exactly.
How would they take advantage of this? What's the first step?
Okay, the first step will be to express their interest to me, that they're interested in possibly converting to this product. They can do that by calling me at 454-2230 or emailing me at timlockridge@shellpoint.org. And that's Lockridge with an H, Lochridge. Everyone gets that wrong.
Right.
So that would be to express an interest, and then I will prepare a personal calculation for them and send that to them along with an informational sheet about the details, some of which we've discussed today. Then if they're still interested after that, they get back to me and we'll set up an appointment to get together and discuss further and hopefully complete the transaction.
Okay. And there is a little bit of deadline because this isn't going to last forever.
That's correct.
Because this is a new contract. This is kind of a one-time chance for you to convert your current contract to a refund if you're interested.
That's correct.
And so the current deadline is?
The limited time frame will be from June 10th to September 10th for our residents who are here year-round. And then there'll be another period in January for our snowbirds that come back at that time. But then after that, you will not be able to convert after that point.
Okay. So this is a one-time thing. If you're interested in contract conversion to a new refundable contract, contact Tim Lockridge. Give me your phone number again.
454-2230.
And you can also email him as well, and he'll work through the personalized calculations to see what the refund would be for you and your estate. So again, this is Jared Pike with Shell Point TV.
The month of June naturally brings about thoughts of weddings. We asked residents of Kings Crown to share some of their wedding memories.
My family moved from West Virginia to Ohio when I was in the 7th grade. She was also in the 7th grade, and that's the first time we met. We claim that when we saw each other for the first time, we both laughed. A friend of mine said, "Why don't you choose a gal from our class and we'll go on a triple date?" So I looked the class over and I saw Eloise and I said, "I think I'll ask Harper." And Harper said that she would go with us. So that was our first date on March the 21st, 1939.
He played basketball, and I liked the shape of his legs.
We went to a youth conference up at Beulah Beach, Ohio. At that time, I felt that I should enter the ministry, and of course, we'd been going steady all during that time, and so I was hoping that she would become my wife, a minister's wife. And so when we got to the cherry tree on that particular evening, which was a favorite spot of ours, I asked her to marry me, and she said yes.
It was a small wedding. I mean, it was an open wedding, though. Anybody could come that wanted to. And so the whole town turned out.
Not quite.
It'll be 70 years on January 1st.
What's your key to having a successful marriage?
Well, cooperation, trying to understand each other's views.
Don't go to bed angry. Let not the sun go down on your wrath, as the scripture said.
Well, we met first when we were 4 years old, when we dated in high school. And then we both went to different colleges. I went to Iowa, and he stayed in Nebraska. He kept coming over to Iowa to see me. He had to go to Fort Benning for officers training. He proposed to me one Friday. We were married the next Friday. And how my mother put together a formal wedding, I still never know. But we had a formal church wedding. My mother went to visit her cousins for a week, gave us the house for our honeymoon. And then we left for Fort Benning, and I stayed with him all the time, went from post to post with him. So I knew he was going to be going overseas. And so he was in the Normandy invasion. 7 days, his whole platoon was gone, and he was the only one left, and he was shot. So they sent him back to England. A German POW took care of him on the PT boat going back. And I never received notification he was shot. Chaplain called and said, "We're sending your husband home back to Winter General Hospital in Topeka, Kansas, if you want to see him." And I said, I didn't even know I was shot. Incidentally, I was pregnant, which he didn't know. Here I am like this, you know, because he never got any of my letters. Way back, he was in the hospital 2 years, and about 6 months into being in the hospital, all his letters that I'd written him came back.
How many years were the two of you married?
68 years. We were married the day before the 4th of July. Bill said that's when the fireworks started.
We met here at Shell Point, so everything happens here at Shell Point. We met in Teledora, where we were both living. Alfred was an editorial writer for the Chicago Tribune for 30 years. It was the 25th anniversary of Shell Point, so there was a big, big gala. And we were told to wear our long dresses. He was going by, and he stopped and said, are you going where I'm going? And I said, well, yes, I'd be glad to go with you. We went to many things together. There were all kinds of boat trips and so forth. He wrote to me, we haven't known each other long, but I'd like us to be married. And so he wrote it through the mail. And I wrote back, of course, and then we talked every day on the phone. We went north for the wedding. He had no children, no siblings. So my family just took him over, and he was delighted to have a family. He loved books. We ended up with 2 rooms in our Turbine apartment full of books all the way around. Loved being together, reading to each other, and discussing many, many things. We just never had a dull moment. We always could find something to talk about. Even on the evenings after dinner, he would read to me while I was cleaning up the supper table. And I loved that, of course. Married together 14 years.
We met in high school, actually. Carol's brother and I were best friends in high school, so I got to know the family quite well.
My brother was a hunter, and he was a hunter, and we lived in the country. We had 35 acres, and we'd go down in the woods and see what we could find.
We enjoyed doing things together.
And being outdoors.
I was out of college before we started dating.
He didn't ask me to marry him until he'd finished. We were out in the backyard one day of my folks' house, and he asked me to marry him. And I said yes right away. We were married in the front yard of my folks' house in the country. And these 2 urns were filled with hydrangeas. And they were, the urns were from the cemetery. They'd been in the family for years. People that came were sitting in chairs, not in rows. They were sitting all over the yard.
Tell us about your wedding dress.
Well, my aunt made it. She made the whole thing, and she made the bridesmaids and the maid of honor dress also. This was pink. This was pink, and these were light blue. And mine was white.
Bill, you looked very handsome. You had this very nice wingtip shoes, brown and white.
This was a garden wedding, so we thought it appropriate. In July of this year, it will be 72 years.
Marriage is a give and take proposition, and that you have to know when to give and when to take.
I can't think of anybody in this world that I would rather be married to.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in next week for more stories and news from around your community. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of June 7th, 8th, and 9th. I'm Dan Philgreen, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.